A Star is Born is the feature adaptation of the enormously popular viral video, the trailer for A Star is Born, the story of Bradley Cooper telling Lady Gaga that she is very pretty, Lady Gaga insisting that no she is not, Bradley Cooper telling Lady Gaga that she is good at singing songs and should sing a song in front of people so that they can see that she is pretty and can sing songs, Lady Gaga insisting that she will not sing the song in front of people because she is shy about not being pretty and not being able to sing songs, Bradley Cooper insisting that she do it anyway, backed up by an increasing tempo blues guitar and drum section riff, and Lady Gaga deciding, okay, I'll get up in front of everyone and sing the song, fortuitously just in time for that part of Shallow ideally suited to demonstrate that the unnoticeably plain-looking girl who had otherwise gone unnoticed actually has a really big voice and great range. How about that? Now, as condensed to trailer form, Act 1 of this movie is one of the best-cut movie advertisements of the year, possibly of the decade, and expanded out to about 40 minutes of screen time here, it could easily be called a genuinely great short film in its own right, with great visual storytelling, compelling characters, and a fine arc with solid payoff. And then it's followed by a serviceable enough third official remake and 500 or so unofficial remake, give or take, of A Star is Born, in which, shit, is it even a spoiler still to say how the rest of A Star is Born plays out? I mean, they've made this movie 4 times. The first one was in 1937. I won't chance it. But since it actually has been about 40 years since the last remake, as opposed to the standard 20 in between the others, the starting premise of A Star is Born is that a once brilliant male entertainer, previously one of the biggest stars in his industry but now in decline and grappling with age, personal demons, and addiction, has a chance encounter with a much younger woman struggling to break into the same business, whom he falls madly and mutually in love with, but also recognizes as a natural-born star talent in her own right, whom he helps realize her dream. Unfortunately, just as her career seems poised to explode, levels he could never have dreamed of, he begins to himself completely self-destruct and is faced with the realization that if she remains with him, he'll drag her down too, and other things happen, yeah. Now, the first 2 of these were about movie stars. Film people will argue forever whether the 1937 one with Janet Gaynor and Frederick March or the following one with James Mason and Judy Garland was better. The 1976 version changed it to music and had Chris Christopherson and Barbra Streisand, was originally conceived as an acting comeback vehicle for Elvis Presley and is interesting as 70s vanity projects go. This one is based more on that one than the other 2 because Bradley Cooper is co-writing, directing, and starring in the Chris Christopherson role. Because if you didn't suspect that Bradley Cooper is exactly the sort of movie star who really wants to be a rock star, but not like a now rock star, you know, like a real kind from the 70s when they had authentic edge and dangerous and people got hurt, right? You are probably thinking of the wrong person when I say the name Bradley Cooper. In any case, as one might also be given to suspect from the written, directed by, and starring credit for Cooper, what otherwise differentiates this version is that whereas previous incarnations either split the story focus somewhat evenly between the fading older star and the rising ingenue, or placed her, here for the record played by Lady Gaga of course, at the center of the story, this one is decidedly all about Cooper's fading rock icon as the main character, at least in terms of which one of them gets to drive the narrative, have the most agency, and demonstrate a semblance of an inner life. Now, that's not to say that either of them are bad. They're actually both very good here, and those who followed my other reviews will know that I don't typically have a lot of patience for Bradley Cooper when he's not the voice of a space raccoon, but he's actually extremely compelling in the role, shows a capable hand as director, and I have to give him the most grudging of grudging respect for playing his role in an unapologetic Sam Elliott impression. And just as I was gearing up to make note of how distracting and obvious that is, what do you know, suddenly there was Sam freaking Elliott classing up the place in person, doing double duty as Cooper's character's put upon older brother, and in his standard role as patron saint of cinematic masculine sincerity, his iconic mustache solemnly haunting the margins of important scene, quietly scolding you for even considering not being moved by the writer-director star's sincere outpouring of man feels. It is, all kidding aside, a performance well deserving of the Best Actor nomination. The entire production appears willed into being for it to earn, and it's impressively matched beat for beat by Gaga's compelling vulnerability. Unfortunately, while the film does a fine job hanging back and giving her the floor when it's time to dance, belt out songs, spit tough girl who doesn't take shit monologue, or hit that close-up that's sort of the brand for what's more or less the franchise of this remake series, the script lets her down in terms of giving her a character to play on equal footing with Cooper's. Now, don't misunderstand, it's clear and real feeling why these two people are together. They have terrific chemistry. Cooper acts the part of a fading music star star more than well enough to match an actual music star, while Gaga pulls off her character's Arthur Miller, Raymond Carver-infused working-class Jersey tough gal affectations with enough aplomb that TNYU alums might as well break out the big foam fingers whenever she gets to the big scenes. I mean, if you're in the camp of pop music criticism that's long claimed to suspect that the showier aspects of this person's entire performing career are some kind of grand-scale Andy Kaufman routine, A Star is Born will likely feel like the point where she's wheeled around in the Elvis getup and went, "Gotcha, I can actually do this good." Speaking of which, the real acting surprise of the movie, no bullshit, turns out to be Andrew Dice Clay as Gaga's father. Feel how you like about his comedy, he is shockingly good in this movie. The issue, which frustratingly is not immediately apparent and instead sneaks up only once seen to be on the right track, is that this version of A Star is Born isn't really interested in demonstrating why the star is a star, apart from the superficial fact of a character played by a famous singer being able to sing very well. See, the tragic hook of this story and why they keep remaking it isn't just that it's about an older star and a younger star, it's a guy who could have been great but settled for famous to indulge his vices, recognizing that his partner and protege is a genuine next-level talent who could surpass him, but only if she can somehow escape him, even if she doesn't necessarily want to. And this version is in no real hurry to tell us what the next level part of Gaga's character actually is here. The change in power dynamic between the two of them at the halfway mark seems to be in terms of what's actually on screen, mostly about her becoming more famous and successful because she's a younger person doing present-day mainstream pop dance music, whereas he's an older guy doing old-fashioned soft rock. Duh. But according to the dialogue, she's blowing the world away with singer-songwriter insight we don't really get to hear, coming presumably from character depths we aren't privy to. The sum total of our evidence that she's immensely compelling is that Cooper keeps talking about it all the time, and I guess we can be glad that they don't go for the cheap route of, oh no, I'm the real musician because I do real music and you're doing pop, but like, at least that would have been something. At times, it almost feels like the film has gone self-aware and wants to jump ahead into its own meta-readings about how Bradley Cooper turned Lady Gaga into a movie star with a movie about Bradley Cooper turning Lady Gaga into a star. As a result, what starts out as a very strong film runs out of gas well before the overlong runtime has pushed it to the end, though the assembled cast does rally for the climax in the correct fashion. So while the irony of an internet film critic responding with a nominally approving but hardly bowled-over shrug to what is effectively an algorithmically engineered mainstream award season fave is itself a Hollywood cliche is not lost on me, I'm gonna say 2.5 stars, high marks for the music, less so for the lyrics.